Welcome to the FreeTruth Show.
Welcome to the FreeTruth Show. Indeed, I am your host, Patrick Lynch. We are live on These Changing Times Radio.sprues.com. And I'm in southern England, in Dorset, in the lovely county of Dorset. And we'll be speaking to Knox Harrington tonight. Our guests will be Knox Harrington, a filmmaker from Montana, who's come out with a splendid documentary. And I've been going over it, and we'll be speaking to him about his works and his documentary, Dreams of Liberty, PANACEA. And we'll also be speaking to Joy from Oregon about her findings of the AES Corporation, which is linked to chemtrails and HAARP. She's found some interesting information, disturbing information, about one of the AES's plants chuffing out the same sort of air crap as the chemtrails from one of their foundries, one of their plants. So we'll be talking to her also. There's a chemtrail rally on the 9th of July, a chemtrail rally, the 9th of July 2011, near Duxford, Cambridgeshire. It's on the same day as the Flying Legends Air Show, so the Air Force will be there and will be there in force disseminating information to the public. And we're going to bring on Knox Harrington in a second or two. I'm going to play a little bit of the trailer of his film, his documentary, experimental documentary film that he's made, Dreams of Liberty, PANACEA. Here's the trailer.
It's no surprise that the policy that has led to all of the suicides in Iraq was crafted by a draft dodger and a chicken hawk.
You think it's okay then for having jihad?
Patrick, thanks for having me on the show.
It's my pleasure. It's an excellent documentary. And you're in Montana right now?
I am right now. It's about 2 o'clock over here, and sun shining. Great day out. I don't see any chemtrails just yet in the sky, but, they never disappoint us over here, it seems.
We have some here today. The last couple of days it's been fairly clear of chemtrails, but cloudy, so it's hard to tell. They spray above the clouds. Congratulations. Shall I call you Matthew or Knox?
Oh, you can call me Matt if you want. I usually go by the film name Knox Harrington, but you can call me Matt. Great to be on the show with you. Thanks for the compliments. And I was listening to a bit of the show yesterday. You had I don't know if it was yesterday, but there was a Monsanto payday on the show.
Payday Monsanto, yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. You guys are doing some great work over there.
Thank you. We've been going about 3 months now. We're up to about 12,500 listens and downloads, and we work on a low budget. But nobody owns or controls us or tells us what to say or do. If I want to say if I want to say what I want to say, I can say it. It's great, and it's a great pleasure to speak to people like yourself. Congratulations on an excellent, superb documentary. I recommend it to everybody. And by the way, for the folks who are listening, I bring on people to talk about their new films or their documentaries or their books, and we don't get any money out of it, and we can't pay them anything. So you can be absolutely sure, and this is probably the only way you can be absolutely sure of any kind of genuinity. Just do it yourself, eh? So congratulations.
That's right. I mean, we're all self-funded, and we're trying to get the truth out there, right? So.
Right. You just got to go with the flow, and to hell with the consequences. They're going to kill us all anyway. 90% of us.
That's what they aim to do. They are eugenicists, and they have said many times, and that's why I had to make the film. One of the biggest reasons was because of that. Not a lot of people really understand the dire consequences America, the UK, the whole world is really in, because once they get us down to third world status, they're aiming to kill everyone who's not going to go along with the plan. So that's why it's we got to get the word out about it.
Well, the USA is now officially third world status in terms of economy.
Oh yeah, I know it's really hard to believe, and that's one of the reasons why I recommend silver and gold and storable food when the proverbial feces hits the fan here.
Right.
Really quick. In Montana right now we're not. Our economy's a bit different since it's a bit less populated over here, so we're lucky in that instance that we still have agriculture that hasn't been too infiltrated yet with the New World Order agenda. But yeah, the economy is definitely getting down there with gas prices here locally. It's just insane. So
I brought you on to speak about your documentary, Dreams of Liberty, PANACEA. Knox Harrington, your screen name, you're an independent documentary filmmaker, poet, musician, and activist based out of Missoula, Montana. You made your first
Correct.
film, I hope I pronounced that right, Missoula, Montana?
Yeah.
You made your
Missoula.
first film. You made your first film, The Cost of a Coke, while studying media arts at the University of Montana. The Cost of a Coke exposes the Coca-Cola Company and its corruption in countries such as Colombia and India, where they've stolen water and hired paramilitaries to execute union leaders. Sounds a bit like Hitler's days. Harrington followed up that one with the festival-acclaimed We Want to Be Sweat Free, which was screened at the New Filmmakers Summer Film Festival in 2009 in New York City. That's good success. The film follows a student activist struggle to ensure their schools' clothes are made by workers who receive a living wage. And you were later inspired by other activists and information that exposed what is called the New World Order. You began working on your first full-length film, Dreams of Liberty, PANACEA, which is what we'll be discussing tonight, which is an avant-garde experimental documentary following TV show host and former Marine Adam Kokesh's journey down the rabbit hole. The film serves as a wake-up call to Americans who need to know that their country has been hijacked by special interest groups and international private banks. Harrington now runs the anti-New World Order pro-American website www.battleforjustice.com and is working locally in Montana to expose the New World Order. He's also working on a number of side projects, including a documentary about hemp and another film about a local serial killer's story. Quite a bio there, Mr. Harrington.
Thank you, Patrick. Well spoken, sir. It's just a little bit about me, into the, I got involved in documentary work because I wanted to, you want to expose all this information about what everything's going on. I started with the Coca-Cola Company. I was a leftist back then. I didn't have any idea about, central banking, international bankers running the show. So, people like, companies like the Coca-Cola Company, they can get away with all this stuff because, well, they're in line with the central banks, and us guys below, we're not. So, yeah, that's part of why I got into it, for sure. With documentary film, you can really get out to a bigger audience as opposed to going outside and screaming at the top of your lungs. But, that's all great, too. You got to do whatever you can to get the world in tune to what's really going on,
Well, there's many different things I can relate to that. There's many different things I do. I will virtually do almost anything to get the message across, even if it means acting like a fool and running away from chemtrails on the film. So it's humor, music, hip-hop, documentaries, just anything to sort of shout as loud as you can, really. But documentaries, I feel, do reach a larger audience and certainly plant a few more seeds than say, a protest.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that we have to do whatever we can, really, to get the word out about this, because time really is running out. And I just felt like back in the day that, as I still do, that film is probably the best way that I can, utilize what I'm good with, to really get the word out about the New World Order and, get people to wake the heck up before it's too late, right?
Exactly. Now, Dreams of Liberty, PANACEA, your new documentary, I think it came out in April, is that right?
Let's see, it came out actually a few months ago. Let's see, we had the first screening here in Missoula, the grand opening here locally.
I was going to ask you how that went.
April 15th is when we did the first screening, but it was released a couple months earlier.
So, Dreams of Liberty, PANACEA is the story of activist and war veteran Adam Kokesh. And Kokesh speaks of his experiences in Iraq as a former Marine, I believe. And now he's taken his...
It's an interesting story how I run into him. Actually, it was pretty lucky. He was really well known in the anti-war movement back when Ron Paul was running for president over here in America, and I had run into him at a Ron Paul rally. I think it was just before the GOP. They had just nominated McCain to run for him over here. So I ran into him there, and he gave a great speech, and I just had to get the guy on camera. And so we ended up we ended up going on a wild goose chase to find Amy Allen, and she's also in the film with her the Ron Paul Revolution song. So yeah, it was actually almost by mistake that I got to run along with him, and he gave me his story, and it was just incredible to meet him.
He's a very interesting character and a very dedicated man. I can see that.
Yes, he is.
In the film, there's quite a few other contributions from Jesse Ventura and Naomi Wolf and Charles.
Yes, Naomi Wolf. We were right up there on stage. I was right up there on stage next to her, and she was just giving a thunderous, great presentation in Washington, D.C. there, and she was just telling everyone how America is slipping into, we're already into Nazi-like, control, here in America, and she was just trying to say, wake up, we got to tell as many people as possible, so.
Yeah, it reminds me of her 10 Steps to Fascism sort of speech. Do you remember that?
Exactly, yes.
Was that the same speech, same day?
That was the same speech. I just, I took what I could out of that, and I was just like, this information is just too important not to get out there to everyone. Because when you see the parallels of what the Stasi was doing, what the brown shirts and everybody, what they were doing, to Germany, and then, then it's going on here, so.
It's incredible, isn't it? I have to pinch myself sometimes, and I used to watch the World War II documentaries. I studied World War II in my own time for years, and I never once asked who paid for all this, and as it turns out, a lot of American companies funded Hitler, and it turns out George Prescott Bush, the grandfather of George W. Bush, was also indicted for war crimes. For trading with the enemy. One of the first to do that. It mentions it in the film.
Exactly. I just find it fascinating. The mainstream American, or they have no idea that the Bushes were heavily involved with funding the Nazis back in the day. And it just gives you the creeps, really. So we have a history of this stuff.